Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Statesville High School, the best high school in Laryy County. Home of the Greyhounds. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Statesville High School, we would like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. We would also like for you to know that you are a special guest to us. We want you to make yourself at home, feel like you've been here all the time. And we also extend to you, not just tonight, but come back and see us. All of you are always welcome on this campus. Again, welcome to Statesville High School. I will now turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Laryy. Laryy does a great job at Statesville High School. He's a tremendous principal. And I have to put a plug in for Matt Gray Auditorium. If you haven't seen Matt Gray Auditorium since it's been renovated, please make them let you go in there this evening. It is magnificent. And I'm proud to say that the city of Statesville and the citizens contributed a significant amount of money to that project to make sure that it was as beautiful and magnificent a facility as it could be. I want to thank the Statesville High School band members who helped tonight. Let's give them a big hand. Obviously, the legacy of the Statesville High School band is a proud and great one. And interestingly enough, this podium, well, we started with, there's that junky little podium. Anyway, we had this little old junky podium that's probably been here since 1743. And they found this one, and this was actually presented by the class of 1962. And was refurbished in 2000 by the class of 1962. So we want to thank them for that. I guess my daughter didn't realize we had this big important engagement tonight, but anyway, she's doing fine. You know, apparently not everybody loves Jim Calabrese. I guess if you don't know him, maybe you can't love him, but I heard that they were driving up tonight, and Mr. Calabrese is driving in, and Mavis is sitting there shotgun beside him, and they came up to the gate, and he really didn't know anything about this event until this moment when somebody said, "Are you here for the Calabrese reception?" And then I guess the secret was out, and Mavis had to tell Jim why he was here. We've got a lot of people that we want to recognize and that we want to hear from tonight. But I just wanted to say very briefly that I was never in the band. In the 7th grade, I decided to play the drums, and after about 2 days, my mother said, "Get those damn drums out of here." And so that was the end of my prolific band career. If I'm not mistaken, and I only say this because I want to lead into something, I don't think a member of my family was ever in the Statesville High School band. And the reason I say that is because it shows the extent and the far-reaching impact that the man that we're here to honor tonight had. I know a lot of you that were band members have a close affinity to Jim Calabrese, but if I was to name the top 5 people in my life that have influenced me, and I was never in the band, Jim Calabrese would be in that group. So, you know, we can honor people all day long and all night long, and we will. We all have been involved in celebrations of the lives of many people. But I think what I would say to you is most of us probably hope and wish that there will be one person in our lives that says, that guy had a big impact on my life. Everybody in this room will say that about our guest tonight. Maybe there are others like him around the state and around the nation and around the world. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only one Jim Calabrese. And Jim, if we could just ask you, this will probably be the first time of many, if you and Mavis and your family would stand up and let us recognize all of you here on the front end of our ceremony, and let the crowd acknowledge you in the way that you should be acknowledged. Everybody here is special, but I've been asked to put some in the group of special guests, some of whom you'll hear from shortly. But for the time being, let me ask each of these persons to stand, and we'll recognize them as a group. There's quite a good number of them. First is Mr. Dent Miller, who was the principal of Statesville High School during the early Calabrese years, 61 through 1966. Dent. J. Albert Hyde, my principal, who was here during the turbulent years of the late 60s and early 70s, the later Calabrese years, we'll call him, Mr. Hyde. The dear, dear Betty Dodson and her daughter Laryy. She and her husband, Costi, were probably the most ardent supporters in the history of the Greyhound Band, though I'm sure there are others that would challenge that. And she, of course, was the director of the chorus here for many, many years. Betty Murdoch is here tonight with her daughter, Anna. Probably you wore a uniform that was altered in some way by Betty Murdoch if you're here during those years. Mrs. Al Archibald is here, and her son Joe and his wife Mary. Kevin Ashley, class of 1973, historian and webmaster for the Grenadier Band alumni page. Kevin. Another person we're currently fortunate to have in a position of leadership in Iredell County is Mr. Brady Johnson, the superintendent of schools. He's back there, Laryy, he's back there, but again, the current principal of SHS. Teddy Millsaps, a Grenadier class of 1970, also a former principal of Statesville High School. Miss Jamie Kincaid, the current band director at SHS. I know Jamie fairly well, and she has the same kind of enthusiasm and spirit that Mr. Calabrese had, and does a tremendous job. Mr. David Wright, the director of bands at Lakeshore Middle School. Mr. John Bailey, instructor of guitar, piano, and voice at SHS, and the VPAC, Visual Performing Arts, at Statesville High School. Matt Dow is the current band director at North Iredell High School. Susie Rockberg is hiding. Susie is the partnership coordinator for the Iowa Statesville Schools, and events such as this don't ever get pulled off quite right without Susie's input. We're glad she's here to help us tonight. Mr. Ken Rudd had the hardest job in America. He was a student teacher when Jim Calabrese was here, and he became the band director after Mr. Calabrese left us. Harriet Cooper is the current choral director at Statesville High School. And Mr. John Rogers, who you'll hear from later, he's a member of the Grenadier Band, but also as important, he's a member of our Iowa County Board of Education. Thank you all. You may be seated. Now we want to try something because we believe most of the classes are represented by more than one member. We're going to try to go through the drum majors in the particular classes and ask those folks to stand and then other members of their class. And so I guess when your class is recognized, if you would please be seated so we can recognize the next class. The first class, as we said, was the class of 62. The co-drum majors were Alan Isley and Jimmy Hawkins. And if there are other members of the class of 62, please stand at this time. Wow. Thank you all very much. And thanks for the podium, guys. Now 48 years old. The class of 1963, the drum major was Ike Kutteh. Ike was not able to be here. Are there members of the class of 63 that are present? All right. Thank you. Class of 1964, the drum major was Tom Lanier. Are there others in the class of 64? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Class of 1965, John Sands was the drum major. He's not present, but if there are members of the class of 65, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Class of 66, Mike Plower was the drum major. Thank you. Class of 1967, the drum major was Jimmy Hammond. And are there members of the class of 1967 present? All right. Thank you. Class of 1968, Jeff Katz was in Statesville for 5 minutes and already had his picture taken and was a feature article on the front page of the newspaper. Other members of the class of 1968. Thank you, folks. There's no dispute about it. The greatest class in the history of Statesville High School was the class of 1969. Our sorry drum major, John Alexander, is not here, but many of others that were in the Grenadier Band are present, if they will stand up. Thank you all. Drum major in the class of 1970 was John McClellan. Are there members of the class of 1970 that are present? All right. And then I guess maybe he didn't know it at the time, but the last drum major, I guess, during the Calabrese years was Al Pettit. He actually was the drum major for 2 years, 71, 72, and 72, 73. Al's here, I know, and members of those classes are good.